Now that we looked at the different types of studies we can engage to do statistics, right? Observational studies or experiments. What do we do after we do those things and collect data? And so this is what we're going to be looking at now. It's the heart of what we call descriptive statistics. And so what we're looking at is summarizing our data and the different ways we do that. And so a key term that's going to come up in this class, we're going to hear over and over again, is the term distribution. And then we use the data we get from the variables, the values we get from the various variables related to our study to collect data, and then we analyze the distribution of the data. And all that is all the possible values a variable can assume and how often, right, those values occur, which is called the frequency. And that's a real basic idea of what we mean by distribution. And so one way we kind of organize that is through frequency, meaning that we count how often certain data come up. And so we analyze that multiple ways. One, through just straight frequency counts, right? How often something comes up. We also look at it through what we call a relative frequency. It's the decimal value of the percent. It's determined by how much you have divided by the total amount you have, right, for a certain value. We also look at something called cumulative frequency. We'll talk about what that looks like, and also cumulative relative frequency, which we're going to take a look at some of those ideas here. And here's an example again, an actual data from a survey done last semester or in 2019, asking students how prepared they are for statistics, and here were the responses. And so you can see the frequencies, how often something comes up. And then you also have relative frequency, which is again the decimal version of the percent. And so you can see 3 out of 60, which is the total number of students, and you get 0.05, which we convert into a percent so we can communicate that, right? And this is what we're looking at. In this case, these are categorical variables here. And so just keep that in mind again because of the type of response. It's not numerical. The frequency is numerical, but that's how often something's come up. And then what we do is we take that, convert to relative frequency, and then you go ahead and then you can change that to a percent. And so make sure, again, many times it's good to round to 3 decimal places with a relative frequency. And then we turn that into a into a percent.